doesn't really follow, but he creates. So you get a lot of players who, you know, just follow what other players do. But Jorden's more of a creator. He's more of a unique thinker. He comes up with ideas, and that's why he's been part of Magnus's World Championships team. So yeah, let's see what he's got here.
Guys, we see the Queen's Gambit declined on the board.
Yeah!
And yeah, the Queen's Gambit declined. Black not taking the bait. We do see one of the most trendy variations of this system, the Tarash variation of the Queen's Gambit declined. And okay, what will Magnus play here? Brings out his bishop. This opening has been very popular by Team Magnus players. That means Magnus Carlsen himself, Daniel Dubov, Jorden Van Foreest, people that Magnus has worked together with in World Championship training camps. And okay, we see maybe a rarer line, not the most common over the last few turns, but the kind of whole nature of the position revolves around Black's pawn in the middle of the board, which is an isolated pawn. If that's a strength, then Black is doing great. If it's a weakness, a target for White, then Magnus will be happy.
And remember, if you yourself want to become an expert on the Queen's Gambit decline, this super popular opening on the tour, then we do have that Chessable course by Alex Kolovich. And if you do join in our question of today, we're asking what you struggle with the most in the opening. You can win this course valued at $300. So please join in and tweet your answers using the hashtag ChessChamps. Well, they're playing fast. Obviously, they're well known in this opening.
Yeah, they've probably discussed either this line or at least something very similar before. They are good friends. They've worked together many times now over the last 6 months, 1 year. So nothing new for them maybe. But who do you think this position will favour in terms of style? Simon?
I mean, I'd say White in general. It depends if Black can get any activity, but it's really about the centre of the board and that pawn, the isolated pawn. And Magnus loves slowly manoeuvring around a slight weakness, and I would have thought here that you know, the question is, you know, he can do that. I don't know if Black can get enough activity. I mean, he might even be able to take the knight, take the pawn now, but that it looks a bit risky, and I don't think he'll do that. But I would have thought Magnus would be comfortable in this position.
Yeah, I think so too.
Magnus slightly frowning. Just
Foreest in those games where he had the black pieces in that opening.
This season he beat Pragnananda in the Queen's Gambit Declined last month.
100%.
It's not 100%, but it's 70%.
70% with black. That is incredible.
Yeah. So is he an expert in this opening?
Yeah.
Yes, from both sides, white and black.
Expert in everything, isn't he, really?
Yeah, and he's also expert in like those very unusual variants of the Queen's Gambit Declined, and he just simply knows how to handle the positions, and he knows, when to be patient, when to strike. Absolutely fantastic player. But in the Queen's Gambit Declined, he's like phenomenal.
Yeah, he's phenomenal there. I mean, I remember him beating Nakamura on both sides of that many, many times. I think Magnus, one of the best patches of his career in early 2019, he was just every time on the white side of the Queen's Gambit Declined, he would just smash his opponents off the board. It was just a joy to watch.
We rarely talk about which openings is Magnus the expert on. He's the universal player, but is this the opening he is the expert in?
One of them.
He's so good at everything. I mean, this is, you can play. I mean, I think he's what people don't realise, a real student of the game. So he's done a lot of work and he's got incredible memory. So he's able to recall games from hundreds of years ago, exact positions which were played in certain openings, and adapt them into his own play. It's just one of his big strengths.
Opening books, he's just poring over them all the time. I mean, this game is not going to last much longer now. White is simply going to capture this black pawn on the right side of the board. White's two pawns are unstoppable, and at the very least, White can give up one of his pieces, the white king or the white bishop, for black's pawn in the middle of the board. Those two white pawns, on this side, are just going to march up and win the game. It's a matter of time now. Jorden giving up hope.
Yeah, look at that, 2 minutes for Jorden. Magnus still has 11 minutes left on the clock. What happened in this game? Was it preparation that Jorden didn't follow?
I have a feeling Jorden just mixed up his opening move orders. Maybe he had an idea in this opening, but that one moment we praised Magnus maybe for being brave, grabbing a pawn. After that, Jorden never got back in the game, simply never recovered. Maybe a slight opening disaster from Jorden, but Magnus's technique ever since that one small slip in the opening, just been flawless. And now the white knight jumping to attack the black rook, but also to stop black's pawn from marching forward. That white knight will keep the black pawn under lock and key, and white's pawns win the game.
And I'm looking at the bar on the bottom of the screen. Mishra, Mamedyarov. Mamedyarov is he still world number 5? Something like that. The bar all the way over to Mishra's side. And we do have a result in this game. It is a win for Magnus Carlsen, his second win in a row. Horrible start for Jorden today. He only has 1 point out of those 4 for his games. But Magnus will be